I am here with Phil Hellmuth. Phil, before we get going, can I get any sneak peek to what this staff is about here?
Well, the staff, so I'm coming in tomorrow as the world's greatest showman. And so the costume's pretty good, you know, but I was watching some footage. Hugh Jackman starred as the world's greatest showman, and he had this cane. And I'm like, oh, so I went to the costume shop just to buy this cane, just for the entrance to Raw, because if I'm going to do this, I'm coming with 17 models, and maybe Jungle Man. Jungle Man was planning on coming in dressed as a lion, but we'll see if he makes it. So yeah, I just want to, if you're going to do this, you might as well have everything perfect. I have a nice top hat. Yeah. I'm ready to go.
Do you think this is going to be your grandest entrance of all time? I know you've had some crazy ones.
Grandest? No. I mean, I think coming in as Caesar, I know they had to pay like $10,000 just to rent that costume when I came in as Caesar. And a lot of times I'll spend $150,000, $200,000 on my entrances. And so no, this won't be my grandest, but it should be a lot of fun. You know, awesome. Greatest showman, I'll be bowing and saying, welcome to the show.
Awesome, I look forward to it. Before we get going, I hear you frequent this place quite often. Where are we right now?
We're at the High Limit Bar at the Aria, and I love it here. You know, I mean, when I come in and I see security, I'm like, all right, Drake's here. Because Drake will come here, and I really like Drake. He's a Canadian, and he and I just have fun. We'll gamble together. Michael Jordan comes here. Wayne Gretzky comes here. Post Malone. My text with Post Malone. He comes here. He likes blackjack. So you really have some of the world's biggest celebrities come to this exact place. Drake will stay somewhere else, but he'll come here. So this room's pretty special. Well,
you're on that list of greatest celebrities that come here. Awesome, man. And I just want to say congrats on your 17th bracelet a couple days ago. So this win felt a little different. It was at 5 a.m. There was no broadcast going on. How did bracelet 17 feel for you? Any different than the others?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we got to the final table and Ivy said, hey, I really want to, I signed up for a one-day tournament. And I said, Ivy, you're not going to dictate the terms of this. He respected that, but then we sat down to each other, we had a nice exchange back and forth. And I get his point, so I was like, all right, let's just finish tonight. And then when we got to five-handed, he might have finished sixth.
He did.
And we got to five-handed. After about 20 minutes, I said, hey, you guys want to finish this tomorrow at 5 p.m. But if one person objects, you have to play. One person thought he was running good, and another person kind of wanted to play, just drank a coffee. It was cool. I didn't push it. I was just like, I offered the option. They wanted to keep playing. And, you know, I guess the advantage is I had some heckler at my last one who was just shouting obnoxious stuff at me for hours and hours and hours. And the heckler didn't have time to make his way over there. So, you know, for anybody that watched last year's coverage, the heckler was, I mean, that shouldn't be allowed in poker. I mean, he crossed way over the line. And so at least there was no heckler. And yeah, the room was completely empty, except for some cash games and kings. And there were about 30 people, I'd say 25, 30 people on the rail watching. But it's 4:30 in the morning. I texted my wife at 3 a.m. And, you know, she's normal. And I said, honey, I'm at the final table now. She responded half an hour later on my way over and said, good, because I'm chip leader with five-handed. And she arrived, and so just having her there was amazing. But yeah, I think the world wanted to watch me win 17.
Yeah, exactly. So did you prefer to keep going with your momentum, or you were saying you'd rather go home, recharge your batteries? So in general, what do you prefer at 5 a.m.?
So the last three heads up I had, so I won a bracelet in like September of 2021. So that's not that long ago. But I've had 3 times I've been heads up since then. 2 of those times I was super tired. One time I kind of just didn't finish well. And so I was in the bathroom at the break and I said, you know what, maybe it's good for me. But I also had tons of energy because I had 3 days off. So I was really upset I busted the deuce to 7 early. But I'd had Wednesday off, I had Thursday off. Friday I busted early. So then I came in Saturday, I busted the 50K Omaha as well. And so things happen for a reason is one theory. And, you know, and so I came in extraordinarily well rested. So at 4:30 in the morning, I was still very strong. There was no sign of fatigue, which is great.
Awesome. And so you showed up here to the WSOP quite early. You're playing 2 months straight. So why the long grind this year?
Every year I come to the World Series for the first event.
Okay, fair. So the main event this year, it's obviously huge. It might be a record breaker. You have all the eyeballs on you. Does this spotlight, does it affect the way you carry yourself, or are you always the real Phil Hellmuth?
To every celebrity out there, all right, you have the real you and you have the persona you. Now, for most people, the real you and the persona split almost completely, and that's when celebrities freak out. They're like, oh my God, I'm having a nervous breakdown, because they're living this life, their persona. This is the way everybody thinks they are, right? Is here, but this is the way, this is the real person. And so when the split becomes extreme, that's why 90% of the celebrities go crazy. So now over time, I had that happen maybe in 07, 08, or 06 where I was too split, but now I've merged the two. And so now I'm very comfortable in my own skin, and you know, and I'm just used to it, you know, and you know, but you still have mind-blowing things come along, and then you have to live within that persona. And you know, this year the mind-blowing thing is just in one day 30 people came up to me and they said, I love you, Phil. That's weird. And I was at dinner, I went to visit my family at a quick dinner at a dinner break, and this woman said, you're everything to me. And so that's a lot for a human being to handle, that level of praise. And so you try to say, okay, this person, what they really mean, so I translate it. Yeah. Because I want to be in this persona. And if I take it over here, I'm in trouble. So my translation is, Phil, we know you're a really good guy who's empathetic. And you know, and so that's shined through. People know that I'm a great person, right? I care about my friends. I'm a family guy. I've never cheated on my wife. That all shines through eventually. It all works well within me and my persona. So the blending of the two is when people glow a little bit more. They fit within their own skin. All the crazy stuff, like Michael Jordan running to catch up with me, U.S. presidents talking to me, all this crazy stuff, you know, pulls you out of the zone and affects your ego. And so you do the best you can, and most people don't know how to deal with their ego in their 30s and 40s and 20s, and they take it out on themselves with drinking or drugs or big financial swings. And so hopefully when the next mind-blowing thing happens, when I'm hanging out with Elon Musk in Italy, you know, when these mind-blowing things happen, hopefully they're not taken out of context. Hopefully I just realize it's just me, I'm just Phil. They like me. I got in the door because of my poker greatness, but I stayed in the door because I'm a really great person, honest, and people like to be around me.
I agree. On the topic of Elon over Zuck?
I have, you know, Zuck lives like literally 3 blocks from me, and we've never officially met.
Okay. So you're signing with Elon?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Elon, I've been late at night, you know, drinking tequila, talking about life with him.
That's amazing.
I've been, you know, in other countries with him.
Amazing.
And, you know, I mean, to me, he's inspirational. He's the man. And I know, because his best friend is one of my closest friends, that he bought Twitter to try to save free speech. So he bought it. He's straight. He kind of leveled the playing field. Now the Democrats hate him. Before the Republicans hated him. You know, there's a lot of hate there, but the man is really trying to save free speech and trying to save the species.
Okay. Back to poker here. So you've stated 24 bracelets is the goal before. Is the experience of playing poker still priceless for you, or do you need to be collecting hardware?
I love the hunt still. I do love the hunt, but you know, and I'm emotional, right? Like, so I won the bracelet. The last time I won a bracelet, I came back in the next tournament, took a massive chip lead. Then I got tired and finished second. That's on me. I mean, that's my weakness, is I get too fatigued. So I thought, okay, this time I'm a lot more well rested. So in the Omaha tournament, I ran my chips up all day, never close to all in. Got it in 83%, which is really tough to do. And the guy hit his freaking card, and I went a little ballistic. I'm like, God damn, But that's classic. That's the classic Phil. These limit tournaments, you lose 4 or 5 hands where you're a favorite, right? Or maybe one you're a small underdog. but when I can go a day, 2 days without ever being all in, then it's especially frustrating when you take that beat and you get upset. But the fact of the matter is I have nothing to complain about luck-wise. I just won a bracelet. So all the young guys were telling me, like Brian Hastings and all these guys that I really like a lot, you know, the Benny Glazers, Phil, you're not allowed to complain today. They were all laughing. And, you know, it's just I have a great relationship with all the high-limit players. They all love me because they know who I am.
Awesome. So just the other day was the celebration of life for the Godfather of Poker, Doyle Brunson. Off the top of your head, do you have any Doyle memories you can share with us?
You know, I'll kind of repeat my speech right now, if you want. I got up there and I said, Doyle is an oasis. To me, he's an oasis. To the poker player, he's an oasis. You wanted to be with him. And so I remember when I was in Dusk Till Dawn, and I was a little bit frazzled and tired and being ripped around to do all this, and there was Doyle. And I saw him and I went and sat next to him, and he and I were just so comfortable sitting next to each other. We spent 45 minutes sitting next to each other. We only talked 15 minutes, but there's a comfort level. I could see he was happy I was there. He was like an oasis. Everybody wanted to be with Doyle, you know, and he ruled the high stakes, you know, he ruled the high stakes roost at Bobby's room for, you know, 40, 50 years. It's amazing what he was able to do and won 10 bracelets. And then, you know, in the 1980s, he bluffed me. In the 1990s, he bluffed me. In 2000, there was video evidence of him bluffing me. Poker After Dark, I'm watching, God damn it, he just bluffed me again. You know, I'd see the show later. Oh, he bluffed me again. So in December, I said, Doyle Brunson's not going to bluff me anymore. He's 89 years old. He's retired. We're going to film together. We went and filmed together. Flop came ace 10-8. I had ace queen. He bet I raised him. Check on the turn, check on the river, 3-4. He moves in for 25,000 with king jack, nothing. And I folded. Doyle Brunson, I'm going to miss you, but I'm not sure I'm going to miss you bluffing me.
Thank you so much. And so the nominations are out. Who's your pick to join you in the Poker Hall of Fame this year?
I mean, Brian Rast, you know, I was going to give him all 10 points unless Mike the Mouth Matusow won that tournament, because it's not about, it's also about timing of who gets in, right? There's a timing thing. You can have, there are some people that are just first ballot Hall of Famers. You put Negreanu in, you put Ivy in, you put some of these crazy, some of the best of all time, they go on the first ballot. But some of these other guys, there's an argument for waiting a year or two to let someone else in before them. And so, but when Rast won the Players' Championship, I emailed all 10 points. But then when Mike made the final table, I said, well, wait a minute, because if Mike wins this bracelet, he's also won the NBC Heads Up Championship. He's been a great ambassador for poker. And so I was ready to, you know, change, you know, a bunch of my points, if not all my points, to Mike the Mouth. Unfortunately, he finished second. Then he came back in the 10K, same game, and if he won that, I was going to give him all 10 points. Because there's a second, there's a first, back-to-back, and he would have gotten all 10 of my points. But right now, I'm probably 7 points Rast, 3 points Mike.
What does positivity mean to you? I've seen you've adopted that term so much lately.
It's not lately. You know, I started with positivity in maybe 2010. It became my hashtag. I just liked it, and my book is called Positivity. So I know at the table, some people can't reconcile Phil Hellmuth, the poker brat, Phil Hellmuth, the positivity guy. Wait, how can he be the positivity guy when he goes off? That's true. I'm very emotional at the table. But outside of that, I've set a lot of goals, very high goals. And I believe that I have a lot to share with humanity with my 8 life tips. Now, when Tony Robbins loved my book and told people to buy my book at his advanced seminars, I almost fell out of my chair. And so, you know, there's no higher praise than Tony Robbins telling people to buy your book at his advanced seminars. So that book's only available at Amazon. It's 8 life tips.
Do you think 17 bracelets solidifies your GOAT status, or was that solidified before this?
The GOAT debate is very interesting, right? So 99% of the world thinks I'm the greatest of all time, the GOAT, right? But you've got the 1% that's hard. So you got guys like Daniel. They're always looking to take something away, right? And Daniel loves me. He's always like, oh, well, Phil did this. Oh, he can't do this. oh Daniel, I won 23 out of 24 times filming high stakes cash games. I can do that. Well, Phil can't win high rollers. Well, I'm up $2 million in high rollers. Oops. Well, Phil can't win outside of the World Series of Poker. I've won a ton of tournaments outside of the World Series. Oops, Phil can't win a World Poker Tour. I haven't won a WPT, but I've made a bunch of final tables. And so, you know, when they're like, oh, Phil can't win in the cash games. All the high limit players know I won 30 times in a row playing in the mixed games because it's such a remarkable thing to have happen. And so I'm beating everybody on every level, right? But now it's, oh, he didn't do this, he did. So they're looking to nitpick every little nitpick thing, right? So this year, for the first time, a lot of the greatest players are giving me GOAT status, which is great, right? Because I know who the great players are, like, you know, Phil Ivey and Sean Deep. And Daniel. Other than Daniel, I think all the other great players know how great I am, and so I think I've earned GOAT status, but you know, they're always going to nitpick away because, oh, I watched Phil play bad one day, or I saw him play this hand and I don't understand it. Eventually, when they understand what I'm doing and I just keep winning, you would think they'd say, wait a minute, let me study what he does. But there's a lot of people that don't understand the concept of reading people, and they'll never be great.
Speaking of Daniel, he's my next interview. Any message to him going into the main event?
Daniel's one of the greatest poker players in the world, for sure. I never doubt that. But I do find it kind of weird that, you know, both me and my agent, we share the same agent, Brian Valsball. And, you know, I've told Daniel this before, but Brian sometimes thinks Daniel's a little delusional, along with me. And I've told you, Daniel kind of laughs it off. We're all close, actually. But Daniel spends probably too much time worrying about, you know, I think he spends a little bit too much time trying to take apart my status. But I'm going to win 7 more bracelets and just keep winning and winning and winning. And I'll play the Triton for the first time this year, and I'll just keep winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. And then maybe in 10 years, Daniel will finally say, whoa, Phil's the GOAT.
All right, Phil Hellmuth, thank you so much, and good luck with the main event. Appreciate that.